that going. Perfect. All right. Now we got it recording. Everything is good. So if anybody needs Spanish translations, if you only speak Spanish, Efren, you want to raise your hand right there? Yeah. So see Efren. He'll help you with translations from English to Spanish if you need it. Thank you, Efren. Thank you.
Thank you.
Perfect. So I'm also your neighborhoods commissioner for District 7. Who knows what a neighborhoods commission is or what we do on the commission? Or tell you what, who doesn't know? Raise your hand if you don't know. Okay. So a neighborhoods commission essentially looks at the quality of life of neighborhoods in the city of San Jose. So we focus on everything from safety to Department of Transportation issues to code enforcement and budget-related items. So what that really means is, do you feel safe in your neighborhood? If you don't feel safe, you should tell us. We report directly to the city council. If you have problems with lighting in your area, so if it's too dark or you can't see, Department of Transportation, tell us. And we can get that bumped up the chain to our city council member. All right? So if you have any other problems with quality of life, safety, any of that, come and see us and we'll try to help you out. Then we work with Councilmember Nguyen, and we have Joanna here from his office who's in attendance. So remember, tonight, I'm not speaking as a commissioner because I'm also the president of our association and I can't really wear both hats at the same time. So I'm just now your president. I'm no longer the commissioner for the duration of this meeting. Yes, you can bow, Jim. So this is our association boundaries for those of you that are new here. We go from Tully in the north down to Capitol Expressway. And we go Monterey over to Coyote Creek. So it's that big territory right there. Before we get in too much into our meeting, there is a free Disney movie night going on at Los Lagos Golf Course, and they're showing Moana. It's a pretty awesome movie, I'm told. I have a 6.5-month-old, so I need to see it, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. And it stars Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, so that's pretty awesome. I put this up front because I've been dealing with it a lot this week, and I wanted to get it out there before people left later in the evening. So this is the distribution of homeless housing numbers in our city. So you can see we're this one. We have the second most housed homeless in the entire city. District 3 has more, District 7, then District 6. The green and the yellow are planned units. And the orange, gray, and blue are what we currently have in the district, with the orange representing the Little Orchard shelter. Now, this is District 7, for those of you that don't know what it looks like. District 7 is comprised of all of these neighborhood associations just like ours, of concerned residents and people that care about our area. So we're here, Center Monterey. Below us is Seven Trees. You have Woodbridge Mobile Home, SMNA McLaughlin Corridor, West Evergreen, Valley Palms, Luna, Santee, McLaughlin, Rock Springs, Paseo, that's right near where the flood was, Alma, and Tuscany Hills. So this is District 7. It goes essentially 280 Alma all the way down to Yerba Buena, and essentially the 87 to the 101, just past that. So tonight's agenda, we're going to have the council office say something real quick. We're going to then have the Chief Lee from the fire department. He's going to speak on illegal fireworks. We're going to have our lieutenant, Brian Matchett. He's going to speak for Captain Tommy Troy. Then we're going to get into environmental services, illegal dumping with Ed Ramirez. And we're going to do 2500 Center Road. But I switched it a little bit, so actually we're doing 2500 Center Road right now. Because it's fresh on my mind and I just have to talk about it. So who's familiar with 2500 Center Road? Okay. So this is essentially what it's going to look like. So Center and Tully. So Center Road is right here. Tully would be here, and we would be right around here at the library. So this is a 4-story facility for 162 units of up to 320 people.
So it's still going through.
So right now, it's still going through. We're still fighting it, but it is still going through. So we're doing our best to fight. Let's hold our questions here for a second. You want the lights dim? I can do that. Or do you want Now that's a good question. It has a good answer, a quick one. Thank you, Delbert. All right. Can everybody see now? Yep. Oh, perfect. Perfect. So this is it. 2500 Center Road. It's going to stick out like a sore thumb. It's going to be the only 4-story building south of Tully Road. It's amongst all these mobile homes here. It's amongst all these single-family homes here and here. Next to it, they're going to build a 4-story parking garage. It's not going to blend into our area, and it's for only chronically homeless individuals, people who have severe mental illness or physical limitations. We don't want it. So I wrote some letters to the planning department and our council member, and this came out of a meeting with our council member. And we asked him to look into some sort of an ordinance that he could propose to city council to remove the facility. Matter of fact, our treasurer, Jim here, asked him specifically, will you present city council an ordinance that will revoke this, that will remove it, stop it? He said yes, he'll look into it. So he did, and he sent a letter to Richard Doyle, who's the city attorney. And Richard Doyle said essentially, there's nothing you can do, it's already done, the city council approved it, even though there were some illegal things and policy 630 for the city was not followed correctly. Because the city council approved it, everything is fine. Everything's legal now, post facto. So I took a look at this letter and said, okay, there's a process under Title 20 of the San Jose Municipal Code for revocation, suspension, or modification of the approved conditional use permit. Now he says that we're unaware of any violation of the conditional use permit at this time. But I wrote them a letter a few months ago, and it specifically showed violation of state noticing law. It is a state law, not a city law. 300-foot requirement. So I wrote a letter back right after the meeting. I think Joanna may have seen it already. I was a little upset. Not with the council member, but at this whole process. It's just we've been saying the same thing for months, and it's like people aren't listening, right? So I said, this is Part 2, Chapter 20.100, Title 20 of San Jose Municipal Code. A violation of any city ordinance or state law was not abated, corrected, or rectified. So state law, 300-foot notification. And what I mean by that, for those of you that are new, in October of 2015, a church and about 26 large ordinance-sized trees, they were demolished and removed. And the city, the county, and the applicant didn't tell a soul. They didn't tell anybody. They just blew up the building and they took out the trees. Nobody knew what was going on. So the neighbors, rightfully, were upset. We're still upset. That's a violation of our rights. We have the right to know what they're going to do with that land. So when I saw this on the previous page, right? Municipal code, we can take out the approved permit if there's a state law that's not abated, corrected, or rectified. They have not abated, corrected, or rectified that 300-foot noticing law that they violated. They're still in error of that. So I asked them, as president of our association, I demanded that the planning director issue a notice of non-compliance for violation of state law, of that 300-foot notification. So we'll see what happens. I also need everyone in this room, if you want to help us with this project and stopping it, we need to email these people. We need to let them know this letter that I sent, I'm going to post it on our website, copy it, and send it to them. Send it to all of them. We need to team up. We need to make our voices heard. It's very, very important that we do that. Now the people on here, Director Harry Freitas, he's actually leaving the city. He's leaving the city June 1st for another job in the county. So Rosalind Huey, she's going to take over as acting director. So she's the one we need to direct that letter to. And we need to CC Cindy Chavez, Dave Cortese, our county supervisors, our mayor, the Mercury News, Ramona, she's interested in this, and our school district superintendent, Juan Cruz. Now I post all of our slides on our website, so if you don't know what our website is, it's SMNASJ.org. And if you want that, during other presentations, I'll come around and write it down for you, so you can see all of this tonight. When we asked about the school and the proximity of this facility next to Franklin Elementary in Shirakawa and Kip and Stonegate, all about a half mile away or so, we said, will lead to adverse consequences for neighborhood residents, will escalate the crime rate. This was actually what Delbert wrote in his appeal. Their response didn't talk about the school one bit. They didn't address it. They said stuff like, disabling conditions related to physical health or mental health. They said individuals will enter into and be responsible for meeting obligations of their leases. But they didn't say how this was going to affect the school or what the plan was to make sure that the schools were safe. They didn't do that. Just like when we asked them, did San Jose Police Department work on you for a safety plan for the area? Did you coordinate with them at all for the CUP? They didn't answer it. They didn't answer it. They just simply said yes, and when we've requested those documents, we have not got them. We have not received them. It's like nobody knows where they are. Most likely because it didn't happen, in my opinion. So these questions I put up here from last month and possibly the month before, same questions, they still need to be answered. Especially this one. If Councilmember Oliverio was correct, he was the council member for District 6, and 2500 Center Road will increase crime, why was the conditional use permit allowed? Why did they vote to approve it? You can't do that if it's going to adversely affect the peace, impair the utility or value of property, or if it's going to be detrimental to public health, safety, or the general welfare. They've never answered that. So we need to keep asking them this question until we get an answer. So now I'm going to get off of that subject a little bit and focus on more positive things. We focused on taking back our parks and creeks. And we did that because our parks and creeks are just absolutely terrible. They're in a just decayed state. And our San Jose State Spartans over here, aka the Capstoners, as I call them, they helped us out a lot. So let's give them a round of applause. So we've gone into the creek, we've gone into the ball fields, we repaired a batting cage that's been dormant for a few years. Kids are starting to use it, kids are playing in it. It's just awesome. We went out, we removed 1 ton of trash on this cleanup, which was this past Saturday. And that was 2 tons less than what we removed a few weeks before that over here at the Tully Ball Fields. So this is all of us with our park ranger buddies, just having fun, smiling. Taryn, are you in there? Yep, Taryn's right there. He's the hero that was on top of the batting cage, shaking like crazy in short gym shorts, giving us a show. Sorry, Taryn, I had to do it. He's going to be a CHP, so. Now, last on this welcome is there's going to be a garbage rate increase. Who's familiar with the garbage rate increase that's happening in this area? So not too many people. So essentially what's happening is the past 3 years, the city of San Jose has increased our garbage rates by 7%. They went from $59.90 back in 2013, 2014 to $67.34, which is the proposed rate now. And if this ordinance passes, or if this contract passes and is approved, it has provisions for the next 2 years to go up another 5% each year for a maximum of 10% increase. So personally, I don't feel that that's right. I feel like my garbage, it gets picked up maybe 3/4 of the time, and the other time I have to go out and pick it up off the street because it's been dumped, or a homeless person has gone through it and thrown it everywhere, or there's just a trash can knocked over and people have not picked it up. I don't feel it's right to be paying more for getting less services. And I know that a lot of people in here feel the same way. So if you feel that way, go on our website, SMNASJ.org. Right here it says, protest the 5% garbage increase. Fill out that form. You can also go to it directly there if you go to these slides. So with that, thank you again to our San Jose State Spartans. Thank you guys. I hope... It was just a blast working with you. And I mean, I hope you learned as much from me as I learned from you guys. Because young minds, they think differently. And I hate saying that because that means I'm getting older. But they do, and I love how they work, so thank you. Now, final public service announcement. Environmental Services want us to talk about saving water, pollution, mobility, and energy in our city. So if you feel like doing that, go to sanjoseca.gov/ESP, fill out their form, and let them know what your ideas are. They want to hear it. So now before we get to the council member, it's Lisa?
Yes.
Yeah, I got it. She's going to talk about the library here for a few minutes, and then we'll go to Joanna.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks for letting me have a couple minutes. My name is Lisa. I work here at the Tully Library. I brought some information, I'll leave it up here, but we're doing some really cool things, I think, to bring patrons back into the library, and I wanted to tell you about that. So in the month of May, we have a fee waiving program, just in the month of May. If you return anything in the month of May that creates a fine, we'll waive it. So you have to bring them in to the desk, and we will waive any fines, but it's just for May. I can't go back to April or February, but we will waive May fines. So if you've got late books that are a year old or two, bring them in, because we'll waive those fines up through May 31st. We also have volunteer programs where you can volunteer your time at a rate of $20 an hour to knock down fines. We had people cleaning our desks and computer keyboards and all that, and it was wonderful. You can also, kids can read to someone or just read a book, and we will waive fines under 18 years old for reading. We also have a book replacement program. If you lost a book, and that can be quite expensive, if you bring us a brand new book that's comparable, we'll take that off, and you don't have that on your record anymore. So just bring us a brand new book, and we can do that. So I wanted to make sure you guys knew about that. We also, at Tully and 6 other branches, we're going to start our free summer lunch program, which begins in June, the middle of June. Monday through Friday, we will serve free lunches for kids, because we know in the summertime, a kid's not in school, sometimes that's the only lunch they get is at school. So we'll have that program happening here also. So I have information, I will leave it for you. Do you guys have any questions about fines or any of the programs I just mentioned? I know I said them pretty quickly. Yes?
Is that only for this library?
No, all. Good question. All libraries. Yeah.
Does the library still use library cards?
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I
No, that's a great question. We do, and we have new designs.
Okay.
So the only if you're in the system, I can issue you a new card. If you dropped off 10 years, if you haven't used it, just get a new card. But yeah.
The old ones will no longer work.
The other ones will no longer work. And your cards do expire every 4 years. I don't know if you knew that. So if you try and use it, and it says, please go see the desk, I know people get nervous, like, uh-oh. It's usually just expired, and we go over your address and your phone number just to make sure that it's current, and then your card will be fine. So, yeah.
Regarding the kids' lunch, the summer program,
Yes.
is that, I've lived here my whole life and I never knew libraries did that.
So this is our 3rd year doing it at Tully, and we added 1 more branch this year. It was 6 last year, it'll be 7. So it's relatively new. So we're partnering with Revolution Foods, and it's, you know, they're healthy lunches, but they're really pretty good. We're gonna have a kickoff the first week in June where anybody can come in and just try the food so you can see what the kids are eating. But it's a neat program. And then we'll have programs right after lunch, since we have a group in here anyway. We'll do arts and crafts and stuff. So it's kind of new, 3 years old. Yeah, and we actually did breakfast last year, but we're not doing breakfast this year. It wasn't that big of a draw. We were doing breakfast on Saturdays, but nobody was coming, so it's really nice, yeah. And snacks, 3 o'clock snacks also. Anything else? Thank you so much. Again, I'll leave this information here, and if you guys want to grab some, you can grab it on your way out.
Thank you very much. Joanna, you want to go make an announcement?
Hello, hi. It is so good to see new faces. I do want to say something really quick in Spanish. Hola, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Joana. Sí hablo español. Y si quieren hablar conmigo después de la junta, por favor, no dejen de ponerse en contacto conmigo. Y después les voy a dar una tarjeta con mi información. Me pueden llamar o también mandar un correo electrónico. So just a little bit, I do see a lot of new faces, and it's really good to see more people come to the neighborhood association. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, and I can exchange my contact information with you. First thing, if you guys do you guys get our newsletter? Do you guys receive our newsletter? No? No? Okay. So what I'll do is, Jonathan, if it's okay, can you share your sign-in sheet with us?
As long as they're cool with it, I'm fine.
Okay. Are you guys good with it? Okay, so make sure to include your email address. That way we can add you to our contact list. That way you start getting our weekly updates on anything that's happening in the district or in the city. And then on that, the council member couldn't make it today, but he did want me to stop by and say a couple of things. Last weekend we had several cleanups. We had a creek cleanup and we had a neighborhood cleanup along Lucretia. And I know some of the folks here at Central Monterey Neighborhood Association were part of it. So he wanted me to thank you for coming out and participating in the cleanup, neighborhood cleanup and creek cleanups. So this week, a little bit, the council members' goal this year is to clean up the district. So we're having cleanups, creek cleanups every weekend. So if you're interested in organizing some sort of a neighborhood cleanup, a park cleanup, please make sure. I'm gonna pass these out. And here's the council members' cell phone number. You can text them directly as well. So if you have any questions at all, you can also contact him. So this weekend, we had someone from the Nisich neighborhood. I'm sorry if I'm gonna name you. We had someone from the Nisich neighborhood reach out to our office because they wanted to organize a park cleanup. So we're actually having that cleanup in 2 weeks. Usually these, they're called Cleanup with Tam, which are neighborhood cleanups, are from on Saturdays 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Not 10 p.m. 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. So I'm sorry. So again, that's in 2 weeks from now. This weekend, we're having 2 creek cleanups. One's on Tourist Road, the other one's on Kelly Park. And then we're also having a dumpster day. So I did bring additional dumpster flyers that you guys can use and partner up with each other. This dumpster day is going to be in the east side of our district. So again, just going back on what Jonathan said, our district goes from roughly 87 all the way to King, passing the 101 overpass. So we're having it in that portion in our district. And I did have additional flyers to give to this neighborhood association. So what I'll do is I'll leave them with Jonathan, and you do need this flyer to use the bins, so make sure you guys talk to each other and partner up so you guys can use the bins this weekend. We are having them, I'm sorry?
You said this weekend?
Yes, this weekend, this Saturday. Do you guys have any questions regarding that? Yes.
I have 2 questions regarding the cleanup.
Yes.
Based off my own schedule, I'm not able to join in on some of the bigger volunteer projects, but I did get with Jonathan and received city bags through, I think it was the anti-litter program. So I took the initiative to go out and clean up on my own, but I did come into a problem, which was disposing or getting the trash picked up. I was under the impression to take those bags and put them out with my normal trash for normal pickup. That was totally neglected. The trash company did not acknowledge it, did not pick it up. So I called the anti-litter. They got back to me 2 days later, and I wasn't able to answer get to the call, but there was no resolution. So I held on to that bag of extra trash that I did as a good Samaritan sitting in my backyard, and I'm not happy with that. That system needs to be fixed. If homeowners are going to get out there, or just as community members gonna get out there and pick something up, the city needs to have a more fluid system to work with us to get that stuff picked up. Otherwise, take it to the park and leave it out in the trash in the city bag. I feel like I'm illegally dumping myself there, you know?
So quick question, did they give you a sticker?
No.
Okay, so they usually, they do have a good, actually they have a great system. They'll give you a green sticker that you can put on the bag. And that's, all of our dumpster or collectors, they know that if they see that sticker on the back, that they can pick it up. So, do you still have that bag? Or
No, because I went and paid $7 something for a yellow sticker out of my own pocket, and I put it out because I couldn't wait any longer, so.
Well, next time you have my contact information, so if you want to follow up, you can follow up and then CC me in this conversation,
Okay.
and I can definitely help facilitate and help out
Okay,
with that.
second, the city has a once a week or once a month pickup where you can put out 3 large furniture items. Something to that effect, to that
No,
effect?
so every resident in San Jose can call the city
Right?
and schedule an appointment where the city will come and pick up to 3 large
That's what it
items
was,
for
3
free.
large items,
Yeah, so
but
it's not a month, it's,
what are the increments, how many times?
2 times.
2 times per
Yes.
month? Or
Yes.
2 times?
2 times a year.
Okay.
Until January.
That's just furniture, what about, like myself, I've remodeled my home.
Well, this is why we have these dumpster days. We're
I-
having a dumpster day actually in the windmill area, which is Windmill/Stonegate in June. And we're actually organizing another one. I'm gonna be working both with Jonathan, so it's gonna be SMNA, so Center Monterey Neighborhood Association and McLaughlin Neighborhood Association. And the area that we're looking at is Windmill Elementary School. So that'll be a good opportunity for you.
I'd say 'cause some of the places are too far away to travel. I don't
Oh, no,
have an
this is why
extra
it's gonna be
truck
local.
or- I don't have the proper vehicle to transfer some of the larger items.
Mhm.
Is there a way I can work with the city, if they can come pick up large furniture items, how about a window frame or some doors, things of that nature?
So, and this is why people come to these neighborhood associations, because you get to meet your neighbors, and then you never know, what I've had in the past is usually, for example, the Seven Trees Neighborhood Association, someone in the neighborhood might have a truck, and that's when they connect with each other, so, I recommend.
So the city has, so basically, that's just saying the city has nothing, so. they'll
No,
have
so,
to-
but this is why we're having
I
dumpster days
tell you
all
what,
around the
David,
district.
you buy me a 6-pack of Guinness, and we'll use my truck to transport it over
Perfect.
there. Does that sound
Yeah,
good?
that's great for you and me, but I want a little more from my cities. I do pay taxes, and if they're raising taxes for garbage, I want some more.
Well, and this is why,
So
like,
more
again,
work
and
for
this is
my
why
city.
we're hosting these dumpster days, so this is actually gonna be our 3rd dumpster day this year, and we're having about 6 more dumpster days in addition to, dumpster days that are hosted by our code enforcement.
So I think,
we're gonna have roughly about 15 dumpster days throughout the district.
so I think that in January, correct me if I'm wrong, it's gonna be 3 items per week, according to Mayor Licardo's Beautify SJ program, right?
That's,
No, I don't,
can you?
I,
No way.
I don't have information on that, but I know they are trying to implement it where folks can just call the city and take,
Well, I tell you
that
what.
number 2 out of the year.
I tell you what, Ed Ramirez is gonna be here to talk about illegal dumping, and I think that's in his presentation. So let's hold that till then. Let's take one more question, and then we'll go. So Bruce Delbert, Rochambeau. Rochambeau, I'm serious. Rock, paper, scissors, come on.
I want to make a comment.
Yeah.
The city of Santa Clara, as long as I've been alive, has had this, not a dumpster day, but everyone can put whatever they want in front of their house, on the street.
If he hasn't been using it, have
Every,
contact Habitat.
it's a weekend in May.
Got a Habitat, the secondhand store down on
Annually, they'll pick up
where the
every,
downtown center. And he can donate the stuff to them. But I know a lot of like appliances and stuff,
So
they
it
have to
could
be
be,
like
you know,
within 5 years or 3 years,
furniture,
brand new stuff.
refrigerators,
They don't go back.
barbecues.
They don't,
So basically
yeah,
anything
just
Whatever,
like,
just put it in
yeah.
each pile in your house.
but if it's
That would
fairly
be
new equipment,
And we do that
and it's
in the
within
city
3 or
of
5 years,
So
they'll
right now,
take it.
because of
It's
staffing,
also like
and
windows, doors,
resources,
things,
and
all that
for
stuff that's usable,
just
the secondhand store
in
will take
District
it.
7, but that's why we're
Thank you.
having dumpster days all around the district to make it convenient for residents.
It's not very convenient if you're an elderly couple and you don't have to pick up your other, you can't get it, you know, you can't
Bruce,
lift it into your
you're
truck.
not old.
No, I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about Dover.
Well, this is why it's a great opportunity. No, this is why it's a great opportunity to collaborate and talk to your neighbors. For example, this neighborhood, that you can work with.
I noticed, on the little park there on the Ramirez,
Okay.
that somebody dumped an old vacuum cleaner or something, an old car seat, and they leave it next to the trash can. I noticed the city comes by and pick up the garbage in the trash can, but they leave those items there. They only empty the trash can, they leave those items sitting there. I did try to throw a seat on top of the trash can one time, and next thing you know, it's next to it, the trash can's empty, and like, whoever does the park cleanup won't even pick those items up other than what's in the trash can.
Delbert, I reported that a week and a half ago, and I did a follow-up with the city, and the city said they'll get to it anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks. And I told them since I've reported it, it's accumulated with more trash. So
can you send me that email? That way I can follow up. Oh. So have you guys at all? Okay, so what I'll do is I'll follow up with an email with our ESD. And then one
I was
more.
wondering what the policy of that was.
So I will definitely follow up with our EOT. And then one more thing, we're having a peace walk on January 14th, which is on a Wednesday. And this is to address the prostitution. I'm sorry?
You said January.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know where my head is. It's actually June 14th, sorry. So June 14th, which is next month, we're having a peace walk to address the human trafficking and prostitution along the Monterey corridor. So if you guys are interested, that's gonna be on a Wednesday, and it's gonna be from 6 to 8 p.m. This is a collaboration with two council districts. So it's our office with Councilmember Raul Peralez's office, and it's with 3 neighborhood associations. So I should have more information in a flyer, but I do hope you guys can go and support your fellow neighbors in Alma, in the Alma community. But again, we're working with the district attorney's office, with Captain Troy, and different agencies for that day. Basically, what will happen that day is we're gonna walk around, definitely walk at the end. We're gonna walk along Monterey Road, and then have a big rally at the end.
Awesome.
Any questions?
All right, thank you, Joanna. So now we're going to move on. We have Fire Marshal and Deputy Chief Ivan Lee here, and he's going to give us a update on illegal fireworks from the San Jose Fire Department. So let's give him a round of applause. Thank you.
I hear him every night.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak before you. It seems like you have a very full agenda, so I'm gonna try to basically condense it, summarize what's going on. Again, I'm Chief Ivan Lee. I'm a Deputy Chief Fire Marshal for San Jose. I've been a chief for about 11 years now, with the city about 27 years. And so what we're going to focus on are efforts to improve the 2016 pilot program, and our additional focus was also to enhance our communications plan. And basically that's why I'm here, trying to educate the public and get your concerns, your information as well on how we can do better. Police and fire patrols, what the action that we're taking this year, police and fire will patrol known hot spots and respond to incoming complaints as we are able to, okay? And so I want you to understand, just because you call in a complaint of illegal fireworks does not necessarily mean that PD and/or fire, and in combination thereof, have the resources to immediately come out and deal with that. Park rangers will be on duty in regional parks, so if it's not a regional park, they will not be there, okay? Code enforcement does not have the staffing to deal with complaint investigations, that is the information that is received online, okay? They don't go out in the neighborhood and canvass the neighborhoods, but last year it was police and fire that reviewed the online reports. Last year, just a quick summary, or I'll probably have it in this spread presentation, so I'll just hold off on that. Enforcement enforcement personnel will participate in this year's enhancement communications plan and outreach. That means basically what I'm doing here. PD is also actively engaged and involved in getting the word out to the community, getting the word out to businesses, getting the word out distributed to schools and so forth. Collectively, we're trying to get the word out that to educate the community. Our preference is not to give citations, but if we need to, we will. We're hoping to get change by educating the public. And last but certainly not least, warning letters will be sent to those individuals who received warning letters last year. There were about 233 warning letters that were sent out last year as a result of all of the online reports that were received. And that was approximately 697 online reports that were made. And you can see summary of that information down here. 697, 134 calls that were made, 32 pounds of fireworks that was confiscated by PD, 233 warnings that were sent to properties amounting, and 16 citations that basically amounted to $8,000. Again, it wasn't the monetary purpose of citing folks. We're trying to get behavior change here. Oops, I'm doing that. Right here, it shows where all the fireworks activities accounted last year. And you can pretty much see this is the entire city. Okay? So it wasn't that the problem was in El Viso. It wasn't the problem was in Almaden or Evergreen. It was the whole city. Okay? So that's why we're trying to get the word out. And you as citizens, you can educate your neighbors and encourage your neighbors to not get involved in fireworks activities. So our enhanced communication plan is this: promote pyrotechnic events, promote firework-free block parties, involvement in our trilingual campaign of getting the word out about illegal fireworks, expanding the outreach, what I already mentioned about PD's involvement and addressing it with schools and so forth. And as far as that's what I'm doing here as well with you, improving the online reporting tool, because I understand last year it was kind of terrible. There was a lot of misinformation or a lot of information that was required on the form, but unfortunately it wasn't reported out to you, so you didn't know. And last but not least, certainly how to communicate a report or make a report. So, number one tactic, publicize pyrotechnic events. There's actually 5 events, pyrotechnic events taking place this year, all on the 4th of July. Discovery Museum at Walls Way, Almaden Lake Park, the Giant Stadium right over here, Morgan Hill, and also the Shoreline in Mountain View. So instead of engaging in your own fireworks activities or your neighbors or so forth, encourage them to seek out one of these pyrotechnic events. Block free or block parties, free block parties. You can see here that the city has waived the permit fee of $175 for the first 50 individuals that sign up for block parties. And that is effective,
It's going on right now.
pardon me?
It's going on right now. It came
But I
out.
believe there's a period of, go online and look at it. The information is in there. Pardon me?
July 1st through 4th.
July 1st through 4th. I was thinking that, but I didn't want to give out bad information. So, okay? So, but however, this comes with 2 conditions. 1, no fireworks. Number 2, no amplified sounds. And so what is the definition of amplified sound? Is if your neighbor complains, it's amplified. Okay? Basically, that's it. I called PD and asked them, what do you mean by amplified sounds? Is it a decibel reading or what? The long and the short of it is, if your neighbor complains, it's amplified. Okay? And they'll respond out there and shut you down. Our outreach campaign this year, in addition to what we did last year, banners at fire stations, at community centers. I think we're going to have 1 or 2 at the police station and maybe the substation. Billboards, ads, movie theaters, public service announcements. You can read all of that. And also electronic information being sent out to schools and YMCA, YWCA, you name it, we're trying to hit it all. We have tailored banners that are going out that basically look like this, and there is a web page on the city's online site where you can get these banners and you can print them out, you can hand them out. It's in English, Spanish, and Vietnamese. Okay? I have a little bit of work. I'm going to throw out the disclaimer right now. I have a little bit of work to do on the Vietnamese one, because my preference is that, you know, give me a Vietnamese firefighter. We have Vietnamese firefighters on our department. Okay, give me one that represents the community. So I'm gonna have that change, but they are available online. Expanded outreach, again, I've already touched on that. Here is just an example of other jurisdictions having outreach educational information. I believe this took place last year at Vasona Park. Sheriff, PD, fire, from County Fire, Santa Clara Fire, Sunnyvale, you name it, they were all out there. This is a joint effort, as you know. The problem is not just here in San Jose. It's not just a regional or even a state problem. It's a nationwide problem. In 2014, approximately 10,500 injuries were sustained due to fireworks-related activities. So, one of the things that, ways that the city, or directions that the city is moving, is improving its online ability in the form of an app that you can utilize and report firework activities all year round. This app right now is not up. It will be a part of, you can see here, My San Jose. So when this app is ready to go, and approximately, I believe they've given me a time frame of about a month and a half or 2, then it will be up all year round and you can report all year round, okay? And while I'm on this, let me say that when you report the illegal use of fireworks, that does not mean that fire or PD is immediately going to roll out there to that site, okay? This is only a reporting tool. So you may ask, what good is it then? Well, it helps us because it gives us an idea of where certain trouble spots are within that whole big old circle that I showed you earlier, where it showed that fireworks activity was an issue all over the city. However, in some areas, it's even more so a problem than in other areas. One case in point, Calero Park is a known bad area for fireworks, and so we're trying to address that in a educational way, with police and fire presence to become a deterrent, okay? And so look for this app in the near future. And here is the web page. You might want to go online and write that down, or go online and play around in there and see what you find, okay? The ordinance is in there. Reporting information is in there. These flyers is in there. Block party information is in there, and so forth.
You said all activities. Does that include the 2 months of Chinese New Year, Vietnamese New Year? Will they just go straight on every week, every day?
You can, again, right now, this is only going to be for the 4th of July coming up. That's the only time that the city really historically has looked at addressing fireworks related reports. When the My San Jose and the app is up, you can report 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days out of the year. That does not mean that you're going to get immediately a police presence or a fire presence though, because we don't have personnel who will be available to look at that data on a daily basis.
Oh, you want to get a police presence with a felony.
I have a quick question.
Let me go through this and then feel free to ask questions, okay? Because I know you're pressed for time and I want to get out of your way. How to report, again, you can go online. If you don't have online and you can call also 311, not 911, 311 to report. The dispatcher will ask you basically if you have the ability to leave a report online. If you do, they will recommend that you leave that report online. But if you don't have the ability to leave it online, then they will take the information from you, okay? Again, I reiterate, the form does not necessarily initiate a real-time response because there could be other higher level incidents going on in the city that draw police presence or even fire presence, okay? So in other words, we're not going to leave or not respond to an emergency medical call or rescue call or fire call to come to a illegal fireworks call, okay? Make sense? Your complaint, again, is helpful because it allows us to follow up and pre-plan where resources will be for the following year, though. So if you don't call and leave that information, then we have no idea where to put our resources in the future. So with that, any questions?
Have you ever thought about how you approach the sensibilities of the Asian community? Like you said, during the Asian New Year, they have a tradition of burning fireworks in front of their doors, evading your evil spirits and all that. I know my Asian neighbors do that, but we tend to minimize it, but it does it all over. You can hear it all over San Jose. Have you guys thought of a way to approach the Asian community and say, hey, if we can tone that down or do some alternate way of without having all that?
Of course, that's a topic of conversation a lot, and we understand that it has cultural implications tied to it, as well as other cultures understand that, you know, because they oftentimes ask, well, what about the Asian community? How come you're not addressing the illegal fireworks when they have events, whether it's Chinese New Year or the Tet Festival or and so forth? And so, again, it's a sensitive area, and we know, and we're trying to educate primarily. But that's not to say that if it continues, that you will not be, that they will not be cited as well. Okay.
During 4th of July, can you use drones?
Can you use what?
Drones during 4th of July.
You know, I can't commit to that. That's a PD question or decision.
Your department and his department work together, because since you're in charge of fire, and if the fire was going illegally, you could send a drone over there and take care of it.
When a picture will give an idea, let's say you use a drone simply may tell where you have clusters of people using fireworks, but as far as identifying them in order to cite, a drone doesn't, it's not clear enough for us to do that.
All over, yeah. Rocket launchers are all over.
Yeah, and gunshots and so forth as well.
What about Homeland Security, what they do?
Pardon me?
Homeland Security, illegals coming in, not doing the job.
I can't address that.
Somebody should, check into that, that's what they're getting paid for, security, Homeland Security. A bomb's a bomb and a rocket, you know, it's all, explosives.
That's a little bit out of my
You
area,
gotta get organized with the big boys.
okay?
I wanted to ask, sometimes I walk my neighborhood and the sidewalk is fine. After, a long weekend, 2 to 3 days weekend, and there's a lot of fireworks, I walk out and there's scorch marks on the sidewalk, there's scorch marks in the street. Do you want those reports that this is Friday, this is Saturday morning, you expect it through Sunday night, there's scorch marks here, do you want us to, that kind of report? Or do you want it real time?
Let me, you can report at any time, however, in order to receive, for us to send out a warning or a citation, there's specific information that when you go online, you're going to have to provide. You're going to have to provide an exact address. You're going to have to provide some type of identification of who that individual is, not just debris on the ground, because who left the debris? Who caused the debris? You might find the debris in front of my house, but maybe I wasn't home, and some neighbors or kids or whatever came and used my front yard as a, pyrotechnic launching site. You gonna send me the ticket? So there's specific information that you have to provide, including your own information. If you are able to identify a person engaged illegally in this activity, and your contact information. Now let's say they appeal it. I appeal the fine that I received. If you refuse to come forward and testify, then they throw the citation out.
Well, I was thinking, this happens Friday night, Saturday morning, and you expect more fireworks Saturday, or the following year, there's scorch marks out there in that street, or that might be an area where they're launching rockets, where it's happening 2 and 3 and 4 years in a row. Because most of the people in that area own their own houses, so it's just your information, hey, there's scorch marks in the street this time, maybe the next major holiday, maybe Cinco de Mayo, they're also gonna have scorch marks in the streets again.
We don't do that.
I'm not going to tell you not to submit the information, but again, understand that this is not real time in the sense that you're going to get an immediate response out there. Okay?
If in the event that a Good Samaritan does follow through and tries to report real-time illegal activity with fireworks, and there's a conflict between those participating and the person reporting, would that possibly expedite the response time from law enforcement, or?
It depends on whether it comes in as an assault or whether it comes in as, and first, I'm glad you brought that up. Let me say this, don't do that. Okay? Because illegal fireworks, alcohol, beer, whatever, and you getting in front of my face, my patriotic, this is my mindset, my patriotic right to shoot off fireworks, I'm inebriated, and so you know what's going to happen, right? You know where I'm going?
Oh yeah.
Okay, there's going to potentially be an altercation. Don't do that. If you want to report, but don't go up in front of somebody's face and say that's illegal, and it's on. Okay, don't do that. I saw another hand.
So this actually goes between the fire department and the police department. So we have the helicopter down in our neighborhood about between 9 and 11 o'clock every night. That's every night. And there's fireworks going on around Capitol Expressway, somewhere on either side of it, just about every night. So if the helicopter's in the air and he can see the fireworks, can't he relay a message saying, hey, we got some activity over this way, can't we just have a car go by? If there's a car in the area.
Of course he can, but there's a lot of ifs in there that you just mentioned. if there's a car in the area, if there's not other calls of more or greater precedence going on, and so there's a lot of ifs. And that's the area that the public really doesn't see. PD staffing level is low. Ours is ridiculously low. And so I believe right now you guys are somewhere around 900 and something. No, not 900 and something. Barely at 900, of which approximately 200 of those individuals are injured or on disability or something like that. So, you know, so again, staffing is a real issue here in this city.
You're gonna, at some point in time, you're gonna have this app where we can report illegal fireworks online.
Right? All year round.
Year round. Now, and I can understand, and I totally agree with you, you're not gonna complete response to a fire response. Is there any gonna be any effort in your office when these reports are made to send a letter to the residents saying, you reported for using illegal fireworks, this blah, 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 and say, you know, you were reported, and at least tell them that it's illegal.
They know it's illegal.
Proactively all year long, notifying people that have been reported for illegal fireworks use.
I don't know if the plans are to, in some manner, it will be made known to the public. I don't think it will be that a letter will be sent to each home address or something like that. It may be put up on the website and so forth. But I don't know what medium we're going to use at this time to get the word out.
Can't you say Big Brother's watching you? We know you're doing it.
So I think with that, we'll get, if we have one more question, is
I
that,
just want to ask about
is it
staffing.
important?
Are they gonna restaff you? I mean, are they actively working to bring it back up? Because I know the fire department out here, the station, is probably like one of the busiest fire stations. What is it, Station 26? They're never there. They're always on a call. So is the fire department doing what the police department is doing and actively trying to restaff you? Hopefully, they're trying to recruit people.
We are at the level we are at.
What level are you?
We're, pardon me?
What level?
We have approximately just over 700 and 34 stations in the city.
So what would you like to be?
Yeah.
What would you think
Yeah,
is
your perfect day.
normal for our city?
Oh, don't, see, now you're asking me to throw out statistics, then this city has never been one to use statistics, when it comes to staffing. So if I were to compare my San Jose with a lot of the other major metropolitan cities, within the nation, typically you have one, you have a city this size should have approximately 1,300 firefighters.
You're gonna have 700?
No, we're yeah.
So as
well,
constituents, that's important.
we're at, when you look at numbers, we're at 0.68 of what most other cities this size should have.
Our PD's at about 40%.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. somewhere
So,
around in
so
there.
with that, we're gonna finish here, but I'm gonna ask one final question here. Efren, go ahead. You've been translating.
Yes, if I may, sir, with all respect, this family here has a son that's very interested in becoming a fireman. And he would like, the father would like to know what would be the basic requirements in becoming a fireman.
Oh, okay. First of all, the Santa Clara County Black Firefighters Association holds a class every second Tuesday of the month. And the requirements generally are that you have your EMT certification, that you are registered nationally as an EMT. You have been certified on what we call a standard physical fitness standard, and there's two sites that person can test with. One site is located up in Dublin, and the other site is in in somewhere in Southern California. But if your son is interested, they can attend this class, which is held at the Afro-Am Center on Julian Street, Julian and 6th or 7th, right down there, and get more information. And last but not least, you have to have your EMT certification completed.
Okay, very well, sir.
Okay.
Robert, very last one, quick.
Not a quick comment. Mission College has a training class for EMT and also preparation for the fire exam.
Right.
So you can also do that.
And some other colleges around as well. So, but you have to get your EMT cert, and then you have to take a national exam.
So I have one final question for you, and then we'll let you go.
Okay.
What do you love about being a firefighter?
Oh.
That's my question, and we'll wrap up with
Well,
that.
I don't do this anymore, but and I know most people will probably say, you know what, that's crazy. What did I love the most?
Yeah.
I love running into fire.
That's a good answer. Thank you. So with that, we're now going to welcome San Jose Police Department Lieutenant Brian Matchett. And we're going to do this a little differently than in the past. We'll do a on-camera session where it kind of gives a report, and for questions, we'll turn the camera off so everybody can feel comfortable asking questions. Does that sound good with you? Awesome. Thank you.
So, Jonathan, thank you very much. I had the pleasure of attending the SMNA meeting last week and met with some of you. First of all, my name is Brian Matchett. I've been with the police department for 21 years. I am the Western Division Commander, which encompasses this district here. Essentially, Western Division runs from Highway 280 to Capitol Expressway, that is north to south, and then east to west from 101 to Monterey Highway. Very busy district. It is one of our training districts, so when the new recruits come out of the academy and they get assigned a field training officer, they come out here to learn the ropes. So in the last meeting I talked about where I work and how the divisions are broken up. I work midnights, but every once in a while I have the pleasure of working some overtime. I'm doing that again today during swing shift, so I can attend this meeting. Last week we talked about a couple of things that I know are troubling, especially out in this community. One was a homeless issue, some blight. You know, there are burglaries, car clouds, and a number of other things that we could really dive into. But I wanted to just kind of address the overall sentiment here. I could stand up here and provide you with statistics all day long about how we're 10% lower in this type of crime, or this type of crime is 10% higher, or whatever. But the real issue is the perception, right? How crime is viewed in any particular community. And what I'd like to do is help answer questions about how we can impact that particular perception. Now, the city, and the police department, the fire department, other government agencies, community organizations, faith-based organizations all try to work together to solve problems. However, some of these organizations have different viewpoints on how to fix problems. Politics does play a part. I'm going to try to not be very political here. My job is to represent the city, represent the police in general. So when I answer questions, I'll try to give you my personal feeling, because I think that's important. But I'll also give you a perspective of how the police department responds to many of the problems that you're facing. Are there any specific questions on some of the crime impacts in your neighborhood?
And we can turn the camera off right now so people are more comfortable. I think that's a good thing to do. Oh, you're getting filmed, Ed. I know, right? So Ed Ramirez, Environmental Services Division, correct? Yes. He's going to speak about illegal dumping, and everyone knows what illegal dumping is here, right? Does anybody not know what illegal dumping is? Those big trash piles we see and all that stuff. So he's going to talk about that and everything else.
Okay, cool. Well, good evening, everybody, and thanks for having me here today. And listening to all the conversations, the different subjects is very interesting. I try to participate in the neighborhood meetings in each district to connect myself with the community and let the community know that myself and my team of 3, for the moment, we feel your guys' frustrations, we feel your pains when it comes to illegal dumping. And the illegal dumping to us is the intent to dispose of materials in a location where they are not supposed to be disposed of. And it's coming from everywhere. It's coming from homeless, it's coming from residents, it's coming from small businesses, it's coming from all over the place. So for those of you who don't know, our program started last year in July. There wasn't really a program before. It was a task that was performed by the Department of Transportation, but they didn't have the staffing or the man time or the equipment to deal with illegal dumping and the rise of this subject. So it was determined that Environmental Services formed a team, and we, as a team, concentrate all of our efforts 100% on illegal dumping. Unfortunately, our team started off with 3 individuals and myself. I was mostly in the office, working on budget, working on planning, and things of that nature. So we only have 3 individuals. And when we put this program together, we scraped prehistoric vehicles that other departments were willing to donate to form this program. So of course, that presented us with vehicle challenges and limited staff. So we decided to work with the Sheriff's Department and utilize the services of the Weekend Work Participant Program. It says Weekend Work Program, but it's actually it's 7 days a week. So we use them Monday through Friday to expand or make our 3-man crew larger than the 3-man crew. But my presentation here tonight is going to be explaining how we've been working to expand our team so that we can provide better coverage. This initial team of 3, nowhere near enough to handle all of San Jose. Cities like Richmond have a total of 12 to 13 individuals working on illegal dumping. We are much larger than them. We only have 3. One thing I can guarantee is that our crew of 3 we are giving our 100% effort into combating illegal dumping all over the city. I'll show some statistics, but are you David? Okay, so I heard you guys bring up La Reagion. The guys are equipped with tablets so that any work orders generated go immediately to them out in the field. We get, on average, 35 calls a day. For example, this week, Monday, we got 65. Tuesday, Wednesday, we're in the 40s. Today it was only 20. So, we have those days where, it's slower than 30, but we get a lot of 65, 50, 40.
So it's your team?
So it's our team that specifically responds. And with those tablet devices, they get all the information right then and there, so that there's no going back to the office, checking in with the boss, doing anything like that. They can map and route their days and work efficiently to pick up all the locations. So when you brought up La Region, I checked on my phone, and that work order request was submitted on the 9th, and it's scheduled to be picked up tomorrow. It's 10 days.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Do you like Guinness beer?
I do.
I will make you a friend of mine, and we will hang out after work.
I will leave my business cards. I have other collateral here to leave. We are very approachable. We are always willing to help. We were born and raised in the city of San Jose. We feel the pain. We don't like the way our districts, our community we don't like how they've
grown into something we don't remember as kids. We remember riding our bikes here when before Highway 87, before Highway 85. There was more open land, there was more bowling alleys, there was movie theaters, there was more fun things to do. We didn't have smartphones, we didn't have internet. We played outside, things were cleaner. The streets and the residential areas weren't as crowded, there wasn't cars everywhere, there wasn't a disregard for our communities where trash is being dumped, litter is being dumped from the homeless. Unfortunately, we're seeing an increase in bio waste. If you guys had any idea of how much feces and urine that we're collecting, you guys would be amazed. So for the three guys to come in every day, and I'm just giving you guys a little bit of a background before I show the presentation. For three guys to come in every day and have to deal with the same ugly messes every day and still stay motivated, I mean, these guys are doing a great job. They're doing a
How
fabulous
can I
job.
help you? Because I see the people, I don't have the individuals, but I know the residents, see where they're coming out of that do this dumping. How can I help you get to that?
So some of the collateral, we'll touch on that. And I'll answer the question about the unlimited pickup items as well. So I'll leave some collateral. We want to educate the community that there's a number you can call if you have evidence of illegal dumping. We have a team now that has been issuing citations and warnings constantly. Residents are learning that there's a place where they can turn in evidence. We're receiving videos, we're receiving photos of people illegally dumping in the act. The first citation is $2,500. The second offense, $5,000. Third or more is $10,000. So it's starting to get some notice, and people are starting to turn things in. I'll give you an example. North San Jose at Cataldi Park. It's Morel, Hostetler area, kind of the northeast area of San Jose. And there's a community that's wrapped around a park, Cataldi Park. And for a while, they kept noticing, and illegal dumping could be wood chips. They kept noticing piles and piles and piles of wood chips, just like all of us are seeing on the freeways, right? You see large dumpings of wood chips, freeways, open land, park areas, everywhere where they can get away with it. Monterey Road, all the way down to the city limit. Well, this community was wondering, what is going on? All these piles of wood chips, and they're not getting spreaded out. So they contacted the city of San Jose Parks Department and found out it wasn't them. So they decided to, as a community, create this task force. Now, they didn't go out and do anything dangerous, but they always had eyes, and they created shifts for this certain area, just using their eyes and cameras. And after 2 or 3 days, they caught the individuals, and they approached them, had video, asking them questions. The individuals, it was like a landscape company. It wasn't a big one, but they had the truck, the wood chipper, the box. They continued to dump as they were videoing and taking pictures. And they told the residents, oh, I was instructed to dump here by the city of Mountain View. Now, you know, if they expected the residents to buy that, I have a bridge I can sell if anybody's interested. So, one thing we do notice, like the wine and cheese neighborhoods and the neighborhoods, like I've heard District 5 and District 7 feel like, you know, there's not a lot of love being shown in these communities. What I've noticed between like Willow Glen, Almaden Valley, Rose Garden, you know, in comparison to other communities, is the community's engagement. Just like the police officer said, you gotta make yourself present. Neighbors gotta talk with each other. They gotta exchange phone numbers. They gotta know, you gotta know your neighbors so that you're not assuming that it's them that's doing something. But if you get to know your neighbor and you know that it's not them that dumped that on the corner or down the street, or maybe they saw something, once you establish that communication with your neighbors and you know who they are and what type of people they are, you know, instead of just judging a book by its cover, because I've learned myself in dealing with the community since taking on this task that things aren't always what they seem. and people have a message that they would like to get out, they just don't know how. Not everybody's sociable, you know, or you know, so reach out to your neighbor, engage with your community. It's the only way that you're gonna make a presence and let people know that, hey, I'm stepping out because this is my community. You're not gonna come and dump in here. You go dump in your area or you do it the right way. But that's what's happening. You know, there's, and so my team is also working on pockets or areas and communities that don't have traffic lights, that don't have bollards or fencing, that don't have some sort of deterrent to keep other people who have learned that in your community, there's a dark spot over there where I can go dump. So we're working on those type of issues as well to help the community. But I think that the community needs to work together and start showing a presence. And I think that'll be a great deterrent for illegal dumping and everything else, homeless and other types of crime. So I'll answer your question about the bulky item and then I'll start on the slide.
Right, thank you.
So the bulky item, it started off with one free pickup appointment of 3 large items, and that went the first year.
Okay.
It was a success. Number of appointments per month started to rise. They just, and at the same time, illegal dumping's still growing. They felt, okay, we need to do more to help combat illegal dumping. So they raised it to 2 free appointments a year, 6 large items. So that was successful, appointments going up, but because appointments are going up, when people are making, calling in to make appointments, it's not within 2 weeks. Sometimes it's like 6 weeks out, their appointment is being scheduled. So that's not an efficient way to run that program. So we are also working on staff level changes with the haulers to make sure. So it's not the city that comes picks it up, but it's the haulers that come and pick up the debris. So we're working with the haulers and making appropriate staff level changes so that we can accommodate the 2-week window for scheduling appointments. Now, from the 2 free appointments a year is now, and I think the mayor kind of spoke on this already, we are working on making it an unlimited scheduling of appointments for not just bulky items, but if you look online now, it's now called the junk pickup program. So we're still working out or hashing out the details, but it could be in the form of a box, a bag for additional items. They might change, we might change the limitations on what type of bulky materials, you know, and what exactly that means. It could be a large window frame. Now, if you go and remodel the entire house, or you change the windows, every single window in your house, that's a remodel project, and you've got to take into account a disposal for 7 to 10 windows, right? But if it's just one window, yeah, that can be included in a program just like this. And it's a way for us to help combat illegal dumping. And we're taking into consideration all of our staff up on the 10th floor at City Hall. We're all from San Jose, born and raised in San Jose. And you know, I know so I'm a part of the team that also is raising the rates. And I know a lot of people are not happy with that, but there's been at least one time where our staff has kept the rates from increasing. So it's always a hard thing to increase rates, but because of that, our team is working on increasing the level of service. Stuff like the unlimited junk pickup program.
When I used that pickup, I had I had scheduled 2 items to be picked up, but it was on the same day as the garbage, and it turned out to be garbage and the green waste. I couldn't put it all out on the same day because of how things have to be put out on the street. And is that how it has to be picked up? Do things have to be picked up on the same day as your garbage?
Yes, because it's the hauler that is coming to pick it up.
Okay. Our street only has one side. We don't have parking on both sides of the street. So there's no parking.
We're limited for space.
Right.
Yeah, so there's no place to put, I had 2 sofas. There was a sofa and a love seat. There was no place to put it because we had, you know, it was after all the rain. We had, everybody had put out all of their weeds, and there were cars, all the garbage cans and recycle. There was nothing. And so I had to keep one of the pieces of furniture. I still have it at my house.
So, I would encourage you to call again. Those are, you know.
So it has to be on the, it has to be on a garbage day.
Yes. That's when the haulers are there in your neighborhood. And if it's not that day, that week, be the following week.
Yeah, but the problem is she doesn't have enough room to put out a refrigerator and stove, her yard waste, her garbage, and her recycles. And it all has to be the same day.
So the way it's supposed to be set up, otherwise it's considered illegal dumping, is you're supposed to set it out the night before.
Yeah.
So I mean, whatever your appointment is, the night before you set it up.
You can't, you don't have enough room.
I mean, leave it on your park strip next to the curb.
You can't, they won't pick it up.
They'll pick it up. They will pick it up.
Okay, please, that's.
So I'll leave my business card, you try it, reschedule your appointment, put it on the park strip. If it doesn't get picked up, you can call me and our team will come pick it up.
Put it on the what?
Park strip. The park strip is between the sidewalk and the curb. Sometimes it's grass, sometimes it's concrete, depending on what the homeowner has done.
We don't have.
No, we don't have that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's challenging areas like that. I mean, we'll have to go and change all of San Jose, so it's all the same if we want to deal with it.
Well, this part of San Jose doesn't have a park strip. So that means you got sidewalks.
Do you want to get to your presentation?
Yeah.
So
I don't mind. I don't mind the Q&A too, and then I can jump on the presentation.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Yes. So Delbert, why don't we hold off on the questions till we get through the presentation, and then we'll get to your question first after the presentation.
Okay.
All right. So hold off on questions till the very end. Let's get this on the road.
Okay. So some of the deterrents that we're working on, and we'll be spreading throughout the city. We've identified over 160 hotspot locations throughout the city where illegal dumping is commonly happening. So I'm going to be displaying some of the items that we'll be placing in hotspot locations. They'll last anywhere from 2 to 3 months, hanging in certain locations, and we'll move them. We'll move them from location to location. We got 3 different types of banners that are going to be placed in these areas. Here's one of them. It says "Don't Trash San Jose," and we've got some images up there. There's a number and a website to call or schedule your free junk pickup appointment. There's the number there for reporting illegal dumping. We got it in English, Spanish, and Vietnamese. Here's an example of another banner that's going to be put up. We have a reminder on this banner of what the fines could be if they're caught illegal dumping. There's the number again for reporting illegal dumping, and the website again for scheduling your free junk pickup. Here's the third banner.
Do they all say the same thing?
No, something a little different. This one says illegal dumping is a crime. And the next one is "Don't Trash San Jose." So we'll be placing these banners, and they'll last for 2 or 3 months in each location, and we'll rotate them around. We've just purchased surveillance cameras and license plate readers. We've been piloting one set of these cameras out on Corey Court off of Oakland Road. And we found that with the presence of the camera there, nobody's dumped. So what we're working on now is we're going to be putting together dummy cameras that look exactly the same, so that we don't have to go out and spend big money on a high volume of cameras. So these are also deployable. They don't require a whole lot of technical support. We can use city staff to relocate these from hotspot to hotspot, and we are going to be doing the same thing, keeping these at hotspots for 2 to 3 months and rotating them around. And we'll also be installing dummy cameras as well.
So if you swap that out with the dummy camera, nobody will know.
Nobody will know. They'll think we're servicing them, or they see us up there on the boom. We're going to start installing no illegal dumping signs, permanent signs. We're going to replace some of the no littering signs that everybody seems to ignore. Our goal is well, I mean, we always want to educate, and we want to encourage the prevention of illegal dumping, but we want people to see the sign and think of the carpool lane and the size of the fine that is, and what risk you're taking by driving in it if you don't have a fast track account for 2 or more individuals. So we have a brand new enforcement team that is going to stay on top of this enforcement, and hopefully people will start to recognize these signs and be more cautious. In the future, we're thinking of putting signage together that are leading up to identified hotspot locations with information, giving them a second chance to think about what they're about to do. Like, hey, coming up with catchy phrases, reminding them of fines, reminding them of options they have, are you sure you want to do this? Stuff like that. So we're taking into consideration those type of deterrents as well.
We need a lot of those in
Yes,
District 7.
yes. So, I mean, I have a list of areas in District 7 that we've identified where we're going to be placing a lot of these banners and cameras. And they are Aiello Drive from Umbarger Road to Lewis Road, Cass Drive from Carpentier to Cedro Street, Roberts Avenue at Phelan, Singleton Road at Locke Drive, Midfield Avenues from Scotty Street to Havana Drive, Grand Brook Way from Kauai to Yerba Buena Road, and Brody Road from Clearbrook Court to Kauai Drive. So we have a great team, we have a lot of experience, and we're on, we have a good grasp on what's going on in each district. So,
you got Feldspar.
Yeah, well, Feldspar is on our list. It didn't qualify for the banners or the cameras quite yet. So our system, we can go in and check history, check frequency, see what needs attention, what's happening. We can check trends, stuff like that. So, as I mentioned before, 3 guys, prehistoric trucks borrowing from other departments. I've been working for the last 9 months on budget, getting approvals for new trucks. We're getting new vehicles. We're going to end up, hopefully in about 3 or 4 months, with 2 garbage trucks and 3 to 4 of these type of vehicles. They're 5-person cab over trucks with leaf body dump bed equipment on the back. So the reason why we have these type of trucks is when we go out and collect illegal dumping, we have to collect items separately. The general debris goes in our compactor truck, but we have to separate the tires. We have to separate the refrigerators because the Freon tank. We respond and collect a lot of hazardous waste materials, bio waste, mattresses we have to keep separate. Shopping carts is a big thorn in my side, and things of that nature. So we can't throw it all in one truck. So we have separate trucks, separate crews to collect things separately. And so with staff, right now we have 3 individuals and myself, and we've always had 1 additional vacancy. We're in the process and we're in the final stages of approving 4 more staff. So in about a month or 2, we should have 5 more staff on our team, doubling the size of our team. That will allow us to pay more attention proactively to the 40 alleyways that are throughout the city of San Jose, the 166 hotspot locations that we've identified, commercial areas, residential, specifically have 1 person 3 days a week collecting shopping carts, because the amount of shopping carts that are out there and the lack of concern by the stores to protect their asset is amazing. So we'll be fully equipped, hopefully in 3 to 4 months once the vehicles come in, and we'll have better response time, better coverage. Postcards, these postcards are going to be leaving here. When we go out and collect illegal dumping, business owners, residents, people come out wondering what we're doing. Hey, is this a new program? So we have some collateral to give people when we meet them out in the streets. And it has all the same information that's on the banners. The number to call to report, if you have evidence, what email to send it to, And I think that's all that's on here. This is a system that we use. These are the stats that we have. And this is on everybody's tablet and on my phone. We see how many calls we get in a day. We see how many illegal dumping incidents that we've discovered ourselves while driving out responding to service requests. And since last July, 1,917. I took this snapshot about 5 o'clock. So over 1,900 illegal dumping incidents that were not reported that we discovered ourselves. This is how many calls we have pending right now, 181. I don't like that number because it affects our response time. Our average response time is almost 6 days. With these additional 5 people in trucks, we want to keep it to float around 2 days response time so that residents and concerned residents that call in illegal dumping aren't wondering, hey, are they going to respond to my call or what? Just like you questioned earlier. This one here is, we have a new app that's going to be coming out soon called My San Jose app, and we're in a test phase right now. It'll allow the public to take a picture of illegal dumping, create a work order. Instead of calling City Hall, instead of calling DOT dispatch, you're going to be able to create a work order with the picture on it, and send it comes straight to our devices. Boom. So that you are like my dispatch or my supervisor giving me a work order. And you'll get updated statuses on whenever we've started it, completed it, or reassigned it to somebody else because of whatever issue. So we're going to have direct communication with the communities using this app. So this will be coming out sometime soon, maybe in the fall. I'm not sure, but we're in the test phase. And so far, in 2.5 weeks, 195 calls have come in, but only 105 of those have been illegal dumping. So you'll be able to report street lights that are out, potholes, and other items. So
is that mirrored off of the San Jose Clean?
The Beautify San Jose for kind of
graffiti.
Yeah. So this is going to be kind of in parallel and kind of taking over the San Jose Clean.
San Jose Clean doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
So it doesn't?
So you'll be using this now.
No, it doesn't work anymore.
So the number of calls that we've gotten reported to us by residents since July of last year, over 7,800 calls. So
And on Beautify San Jose, there's a place where you can call in on carts, but I think it just gives you a phone number or emails actually. You would think like American Cart Company or somebody that's commercially into picking up carts, making money off of it.
They get anywhere between $3 and $5 a cart they return to the store.
Well, that's it?
Yeah.
That doesn't pay for gas.
Right, and the carts at most are $200 each to be purchased. So big organization like Target, Safeway, is it better to write it off as a damaged item or a loss? Maybe.
I thought they were getting like 70 bucks a cart.
No, it's like $3 to $5. And
Can the city, your card has your market name on it, you don't get fined. So why don't they up it to that you're responsible for your card?
So each store that has 25 carts or more is required to pay $435 a year and a plan showing the city how they plan on keeping the carts on their property. And that allows an inspector that we have to perform enforcement. And each time you cite it, it's $50. So.
Good person to know.
Thank you for all your help. So thank you. It's an honest task, I know. And if it wasn't for guys like you, I can't imagine what this place would look like.
That's right.
You're welcome.
I have a question.
Last question, Delbert.
Talking about 3 guys, 5 guys, trying to clean up, do all the pickup of a million people in San Jose or out in household. Seems to be a lot of work, never ending. If we can put out stuff in front of our house, clean around the neighborhood, old vacuum cleaners, every neighbor putting out something, and you take 10 days to get to these things, there's always going to be something on a curb waiting for your pickup.
Right.
I mentioned something to the mayor one day on some budget meeting about why don't we have able-bodied people, homeowners, have have maybe a weekend free dump at the dump. And anybody that wants to clean their yard or get rid of it, be able to pile it in a pickup truck, take it down to the dump, that special weekend, and dump it for free.
That idea has always been bounced around.
But if that happens in Phoenix,
Creating a voucher, providing a voucher for the residents to
right, it doesn't have to be these residents going there all times of the week when business trucks are going there. It can be a weekend when only residents go there. If they can dump for free, they won't dump it on the street. They won't leave it on the curb, waiting 10 days for you to pick it up. They'll just take it themselves and gone. Why, we're able-bodied people, why do we have to wait for 5 guys to come pick it up from me and leave it on the street? And then they will leave it the next day, always gonna be something waiting for you. It's just trash.
It's unbelievable.
So,
That's why, like I said, every year, in May, we have a weekend, put all your stuff out there.
right.
You don't want, you put it on the street, everybody does it on the street. And they pick it up, they have to the city.
Right.
So, it's a plus for the citizens, but also it helps for them.
Everybody can get a truck and then it'll save your back. If you don't want to save all these things on the road.
Oh, man.
When I was young, it was something like that.
That's on our list.
All right, well, thank you everybody for attending. I appreciate it, and we're gonna end there. All right, good meeting. All right, thank you. Let's see. Oh, these are.